this was your first year under Brad. Just what did the news sound like to you today? How tough was that to hear, or what do you think of the decision?
Yeah, it's obviously a tough decision. Wasn't the best year we had here this year, but I learned a lot from him. He's a good man. Like I said, he did some good things with us this year, and learned a lot of stuff from him as a person, and really good person as well. So I just wish him the best.
If somebody from the outside just looked at the standings, they would think this was a pretty dire situation. When you've been in that room, you know the players around you. Mm-hmm. Do you get the sense that this can turn around fairly quickly?
Yeah, I think so, for sure. Obviously, like you said, it wasn't the best year, but just the way we were fighting injuries all year long. And, before that, I know we didn't get off to a good start. I think we were 3-9, but, we had a complete new team, and sometimes that takes a little bit of time to get to know the guys around the locker room and stuff. But once injuries happen, it it's kind of a trickling downfall effect, and kind of that hurt us for sure. But we've got a lot of good players in our locker room, and a lot of young players who came up and stepped up and was a big role in our team this year. So gave them opportunity to play, and they ran with it, and it was fun to watch and be a part of.
We've all seen you on the ice all season, but obviously there are a lot of changes in your life off the ice. Having a kid, moving to a completely new place. Can you just talk about the way you adjusted and how that's gone so far, almost a year later?
Yeah, it was a wild year. Like you said, complete new organization, new city, new home, new kid. A lot to be excited about and happy about, but at the same time, you kind of got a lot on your plate. So, but I thought, I did a good job managing that, and even though it was a rough year for us, with wins and not making the playoffs, I enjoyed my time here every single day. Came to the rink, I had a blast, and got to meet a lot of some guys that probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to play on our team, and I feel like I know every player in the organization now. So that's great. Coming into training camp next year, everyone will be on a first name basis and their nicknames, and I feel a lot more comfortable coming into training camp next year.
I'm sure when you signed here, it wasn't to sign up for a rebuild for a team that's trying to go, climb up from the bottom, but it seemed like that sort of happened, obviously, with the injuries and everything else, and you get in all those young players. How excited are you, I guess, to just be part of this now, be at the front of this with Line and Jenner and all these other guys, to kind of grow this thing here and rise from the ashes, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited. We're not far off. Even with where we ended up in the standings, with the guys that you're missing for the whole year and half the year and 20 games, 30 games, it's those are huge players and important players on our team. So, when you lose a guy like Zach Werenski, there's no replacing a guy like that, and it's hard, and you kind of got to fight through it. But like I said, I think we have a really good group in our locker room, and I'm really excited to see the way we come in next year, because it's gonna be fun.
I don't know how much you've paid attention to draft lotteries since you've been in the league, but is it safe to say you'll be paying attention to this one maybe more than usual?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't really know how they work with the percentages and where you end up, but I'll definitely pay attention to this one for sure. And there's a few good players, a lot of good players in the draft, I'm sure, and it'll be exciting to see where we end up and who we pick. But I'll pay attention for sure.
You sit just a few stalls away from Marchenko in the dressing room. I wonder if you can. Everybody sees the goals and how he played as a rookie and how impressive that was.
Yeah.
What has he brought to the room in terms of attitude and energy?
Yeah, he's an awesome kid. I love Marchie. He's got a great sense of humor, great teammate, awesome players, got a great shot. But it's just his energy. He's always happy, always walking in the rink with a smile, and that's contagious. Even when you're having a rough year, as a team-wise, when you have guys who are excited to come to the rink and practice and work and try to get better every day, it's it's contagious, and that's what helps your team get better. So, and there's a handful of guys in there that do the same thing, and they could kind of shut it down and be upset or mad. Maybe they're not scoring this and that and not playing well, but everyone was had a great attitude this year, even with the way it went, and I was happy how we came into games. We were all excited, ready to play, and I think that's what's good for our team, and it's going to be good for the future.
Johnny, just the way the season worked, injuries kind of derailed it early. Just how were you guys able to grind through so many injuries, knowing that there really wasn't a lot to play for from a playoff standpoint from an early part of the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's still our job. We want to win, and for me, I mean, the support we got from our fans, that's something that should want to fire you up and try to get a win in front of a building that's cheering you on when you're not having the best year. So, I think I took a lot of effort into that and realized how special of a fan group we have here. And it was awesome all year long, the way they supported us. So, even when you're having those rough seasons and you're losing games, it's not just about the team, it's about the city and the way they support you. And it was awesome all year long.
Kind of building off that, this was your first season living in Ohio, living closer to home. Off the ice for you, your wife, your daughter, how did that go for you off the ice, and did you enjoy your experience here that way?
Yeah, it was great. It was, it was different for sure, having a kid at the house, but it was awesome. We had a lot of fun with her. She's getting bigger. She's almost 6 months now. I feel like it's just yesterday that signed here and she was born, and everyone's congratulating me. So, but it was we loved our time here so far this season. We live in a nice neighborhood. People are super friendly, and it was a lot of fun this year.
Is it nice to be closer to home?
Yeah, I love that part too, for sure. I said it a few times. It was like a open door policy at our house. Meredith's family was coming in whenever they want. My dad, I swear, I don't even know if he left. We're just on the road trips. But it's great. My mom and dad, they love spending time with Noah, and they help us out a lot with the baby. So to have family to come and cheer you on for the hockey part's great. But I think they're coming to see her a little bit more, I think, this year. But it was awesome. I loved it.
Johnny, all that builds into a more stable off season for you this year, right? I mean, last year was kind of tumultuous. How much will a more even keel off season help you once you start preparing for the season?
Yeah. Last summer was stressful. Yeah. But this year it's going to be a lot easier. I know where I'm at. Where I'm going to be for the next 7 years. So, I can just kind of focus on training and. Spend some time with family, and because last year it was like draining throughout the summer, not knowing what I was going to do and where I was going to play. So I'm pretty excited to kind of just have a little more relaxed summer and get my training done and skate it a little bit more and try to come in really, really prepared for next season.
A fun one for you. How are you with the cannon now?
I think I'm good. I mean, you guys see me out there. I don't jump anymore, and I know when they're coming. Start of the game, if we win, at the end of the game, and after every goal. So I did my homework, and after the first few games, I was good. So
I don't think anybody expected another 115-point season out of you. Nobody expects a repeat of that. But what can you say about the way you played this season? Kept almost a point a game pace. Were you pleased with the way things went?
Yeah, no, I could be better. I could be better in my own zone. I think, coming into this year, a complete new system. I always played man on man for my 8-9 years in my career. Didn't matter what coach. It was always, for some reason, man on man. And this year was a little different. We played a little different of a system. So I got caught a couple times throughout the season in the D zone, just not knowing where I should go. And it was frustrating at times because it's in the back, printed in the back of your mind. You've been doing the same thing for 9 years, so I'm gonna definitely have to kind of nip that in the butt and get better at that part. But offensively, I still think I could have did a little bit more. Like you said, I try not to base my stuff on points and stuff, and obviously I had a lot last year and not as many this year, but I think I can play a lot more in the offensive zone and drive the pace a little bit more, and that's what I'm going to try to work on this summer and get back to that next season.
AZ, I know you were one of the guys who were really excited when Brad got the job 2 years ago. How tough is this day to get this news just that it didn't work out?
Yeah, it's tough. I've been with Lars for 7+ years now. I think only Booner's been longer with him at, I want to say 10 years. So the relationship goes deep. It goes back a long time. Since my first pro game, I've known Lars, and obviously it's a tough situation. I think as players too, and as competitors, like, it's on us a little bit, right? Like, we didn't play to a standard, and you never want to see someone get let go because of on-ice play, right? But it's part of the business, and so yeah, no, it's definitely tough. But like I said, it's part of it.
See, we've talked about it all season, including your injury. The injuries just wrecked this team early. So I'm sure that leaves a lot of motivation for next season for all of you guys coming back. Jarmo was in here earlier, and basically, talked about speeding up the timeline a little bit. We're tired of losing. We want to get back to the playoffs. What is the team focus, your focus, as you look forward to next season?
Yeah, I think everyone's just got to look in the mirror and just say, this year wasn't good enough. Myself included. It's a freak thing, but I can't get hurt. It's one of those things. I got to play 72, 75, 80 games. And that goes for a lot of guys. Obviously freak things happen, but I think going into the off season, guys can take a little break. I don't want to say forget about it, because these are things that should motivate you, to not go through this year again. But guys can look in the mirror, and I think collectively we can, be more conditioned, be in better shape, be stronger, and then come training camp time, it's going to be hard. We can't go through years like this again. It's one of those things, I think Jarmo said, we have to speed this up. We're not, as players, you don't want to go through it. You only have so many years in your career, and obviously none of the fans, you guys, management, no one wants to go through this. So I think it's on us to speed it up.
He was also mentioning that there's going to be changes, obviously, they're starting today with the coaches and stuff. But when you look around the room at what is already here, do you see a team that can make a big rebound next year?
Yeah, 100%. I think you look at guys like, Booner, myself that have been here for a while. You had Johnny, Curls, Goody. You got guys like KJ and Marchie who took huge steps. He's Silly, tough year for Silly, but he's a guy that gets it, right? He's a true pro, and I'm sure he's going to have a big summer. You got Chinny. We have guys here that can really do damage in this league. I think it's on us as leaders to make sure guys are ready to go come training camp and have good off seasons. And I don't think we're far off. It's just making sure we're all on the same page come camp.
That kind of building off of that, that's personnel. What about culture? Because we saw this team that was way down and undermanned in a lot of games still battle through. Where's the culture at right now in this room in terms of what they're going to carry forward to next year?
Yeah, I think this year was tough a little bit with the culture side of things, with all the injuries, guys coming up, going down, just trades, whatever it may be. I think, most years you kind of have your group, and then there's injuries along the way, where this year it was just, I was introducing myself to guys every morning, it felt like, which is, it's kind of hard to build a culture that way. I think we can definitely do a better job as leaders of, I don't want to say the culture wasn't good at all, because it was, right? We have a close group in there, but I think just in terms of standard, we have to set the standard higher, and we got to make sure young guys know that this isn't acceptable. We know it's not acceptable. We've been on winning teams, and we have to get our standard back there, and that starts with us and building that culture. And like I said, I think we have really good pieces in there. The guys I named, we're not far off. It's just making sure we help them get there, and we help this team get in the right direction.
Zach, how are you feeling? How's the rehab going? And do you feel like that you guys need to use the summer to make any sort of adjustments to training just to make sure you're fully ready for next year?
Yeah, I feel really good right now. Every day I'm feeling better. I've been on the ice obviously for a few weeks now, and I feel really good. So that's obviously a positive going into a long off season. In terms of training, I think everyone's a little bit different. I know what I like to do, and I think for me, it's even doing a little bit more this summer. In terms of other guys, I would, challenge them to do the same thing. Everyone has a routine, but let's make sure we give a little more this summer, so we're not in this situation again next season. And whatever it is that may be, whether it's mobility, strength, cardio, there's so many options and different ways to get better. I think it's just looking in the mirror and doing a little bit more than we've done in the past to make sure we're not here again.
As a veteran of this team, how difficult was it to try and be a leader when you're not on the ice for most of the season?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think when you're on the ice and you're going through it with the guys, it's definitely easier. You kind of get a temperature of the room. You get a feel for what's going on, what the game's like. It's hard watching on TV or from up above every time. And then it's also hard too because you're not trying to mess up guys' routines and ask them questions and talk to them. So you kind of try and stay out of it. But I think I learned a lot this year just from. I think I was around the rink more, whether I was working out or just hanging out because I had nothing else to do. So I got to see a lot and kind of hear a lot and learn from guys and whatnot. But it was definitely tough in that aspect. Obviously, I wanted to be out there helping the guys and being a leader that way. But I'm just excited for next season to get back on ice again and get playing.
See, I'm not sure how much you've paid attention to draft lotteries in the past, but is it safe to assume you'll be tuned in on this one next month?
Oh,
Is it
yeah,
that big a
I'll be
deal?
tuned in, yeah. It's a big one, obviously, I think you have the Bedard, who everyone's talking about, and rightfully so, but you had a couple guys behind him, too, that, yeah, I mean, wouldn't be so bad, right? But no, honestly, it's one of those things where everything I'm kind of hearing and reading on it, I know that Fantilli could probably be a number one in any other draft. That Michkov, Will Smith from the U.S. program, a couple other guys, right? So I think it's a deep draft, which is a good thing in the position we're in. Whoever we get, it's going to be a help for this team, and but yeah, I'll be tuned in, see what happens.
So I'm just curious, being able to watch the game, seeing other defensemen get opportunities that they might not have otherwise given the way the season went. What did you think of some of the performances of those guys with that opportunity?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's one of those things where, even if guys struggled maybe a little bit at certain times, you learn from it, right? And then, you learn from it, you go into an off season, you work on things, you get better, and then next year when you're in these positions, you've been there before, right? I've gone through my growing pains as a defenseman. It's well documented with Torts, and it's hard, right? Playing defense in this league is, like they say, it takes the longest to kind of figure it out, right? So I think we had two guys over 150 games, Boki and Peeker, and then Bayreuther. So we were a young decor, right? And I think a lot of guys did a lot of good things, right? They stepped up, played a lot of minutes. It's a tough league, and I think it's a great learning experience for a lot of guys.
With your relationship with Brendan Naurato, the Michigan coach, obviously, do you have a insight on Fantilli? Have you talked to him about Fantilli at all?
I skate with Fantilli in the summers. So last summer was the first summer I skated with him. So I know him a little bit just from that and being on ice with him. Obviously, they speak super highly of his game in general. I think the one thing that sticks out with him, though, it's he has the points, but he also plays in the dirty areas. He's throwing his body around. I went and watched him play OSU in the Big Ten championship or semifinals at Yost a few weeks ago, and obviously I see it in the summer and I see it on TV, but seeing it live, he's a workhorse. His engine doesn't stop going, and those are good players. Those are guys you can't really find. So, like I said, I think this draft's a good draft to be picking high in, and we're gonna get a good player.
Last one from me is it's been a couple of years now since you've played with Seth Jones. I guess it would be fair to say they're still kind of looking for that full-time partner for you up there. You've had some time with Boquist. Do you like having a guy who's a right-hand shot? Is that a little easier? Passing and that kind of thing. And did you like your time with Boquist? Would you like to kind of see that continue a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's definitely easier playing with a righty, just naturally. Your forehands are facing each other. There's some guys that can play the right side as lefties and vice versa. and they're good at it. But I think just naturally playing with the righties ideal. And Bo's a really good hockey player. I like playing with Bo. It's tough now because I didn't play all season, so those sample sizes are small. But I think we've seen what Bo can do and how he sees the game. He thinks it how I think it, right? And I think when you can get your mentality and kind of how you think the game on the same wavelength, good things can happen. Me and Jonesy kind of had that same thought process and worked out well for a while. But yeah, I like playing with Bo. He's a really good hockey player. Like I said, it's hard because I haven't played in a while, so I don't even know what playing hockey feels like at this point. But no, he's a good player.
So you've worked with Narado the last several summers. He's a big-time college coach now. Can that continue? Do you still train with him in the summertime?
Yeah, I think he can do NHL guys. He just can't. Yeah, I think if you're a college coach, you just can't coach college or train college players. But I haven't really talked to him about this summer coming up yet. Obviously, a big extension and them in the Frozen Four. I'm not going to ask him, right now. But I think he still can do NHL guys, which is nice because he's been a big help in my career.
Not to break down every single defenseman in the organization, but there's a lot of talk about Juracek coming up. How much have you observed of his game? And again, you haven't been on the ice with him, but how much can you foresee maybe that pairing working as we look towards the future of the blue line here on this team?
Yeah, he's, obviously he was highly touted coming out of the draft. Saw it in training camp, how he sees the game, how he thinks it. Goes to the American League, he's an all-star there, which is a hard thing to do, especially as a young guy, as a defenseman. Goes to World Juniors, he's the best player on the ice. Comes up here, and I thought each game he played here, he got better. I think his last game was Philly. Just the plays he was making and the confidence he played with, you can definitely see it. Everything's there. So I can definitely see that working in the future, and whether it's next season or whenever that may be. I know he's kind of got all the accolades and the next steps here, so it's exciting for sure.
With the whole draft process, how do you process, you and your teammates, that some fans are rooting against you, and they're disappointed that you beat Pittsburgh the other night?
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. There's always stuff to be disappointed about when you're fans. We see it on Twitter all the time and social media. But as competitors, I don't think there's a guy in the league that's going to try and lose a hockey game. Guys want to win no matter what the situation is, no matter what the draft lottery is, or Connor Bedard or whatever it may be. I think when you put a jersey on, you play in the NHL, it's a privilege, and you got to do your best to try and win hockey games. And I give our team a lot of credit. It's a veteran Pittsburgh hockey team. We had a lot of young guys, first games. It's a great experience for those guys. It's cool memories, and obviously fans might not like it, but I don't really care.
Jack, just your reaction to Brad's firing today, and how does that make you feel?
He amazing person, and it's tough to see guys go, but it's part of the business. And after having a couple of meetings already, it's it seems like it's going to be some culture shift, culture change, and I think that it's a step that might need to have been taken. But as a player, it's not my job. You jokingly always just say I just work here, so it's on me to give my best effort every night, and doesn't matter what's going on with that. It's trying to do the best I can as a player, and try to make this team better.
Jack, how do you feel like that? Obviously, injuries, a lot of other things contributed to how tough the season was. What is your main takeaway from the way that it went for you?
Yeah, it was a struggle a little bit with all the guys that got hurt, and you look at who was playing at the beginning of the year and who was playing at the end of the year, and it's pretty crazy how everything unfolded. I don't think many people would have guessed that one. So played with a lot of new guys, got to learn and get to know about a lot of the people in the organization, and to play with different groups. It was something that you can take with everything that went on and all the negatives that went on. It's going to be pretty easy. I feel like in some way to go up. So it's we have a long road, and we're gonna have difficulties still, and I think that with this whole new shift, it puts a light into players, and hopefully, and sparks a fire for the guys, and for me, and just gotta do everything that's necessary in the summertime and get ready to come back.
Jack, with your own game, if you were to look at it, you're obviously not a young player anymore, but you're not an old player either. You're kind of like right there going into your prime, I would
Yeah.
say. What have you learned about your own game, as you're going forward, and have you figured some things out, the past couple of years?
Sure, yeah. I mean, definitely have. I mean, and like I said, you can take you can learn a lot from years like this, and like you said, I'm not young, but I'm not old. I'm kind of in that middle, and going into a prime parts of my career, and I'd say I'm older, if anything, and it's one of those things where year after year you kind of hear the same things about good, hear the same things about bad, and it's just your job to piece them together and to make them work for not only yourself, but to make them work for the whole entire team and the organization.
You, as you're looking forward, Jarmo was in here talking about how, he wants this to be a quick change if possible, right? Like a big rebound next year, and there's a lot of injuries, we know that. When you look forward, do you see yourself as one of those guys that could really help this team get back to where they want to be?
Yeah, I always say don't want to be part of the problem, you want to be part of the solution. So I want to be a guy that is known to pour it out, and I want to get there. I'm not there yet, but it's a goal of mine, and it's important. If we want to be good, it's I want to be a part of it, and I need to be better just in general for everything, and it's going to be everyone should have that standard.
This is the third season, I think, for you here already, and I haven't really asked this one. I was just kind of curious. This is your hometown. Has it been easy, hard, playing in your hometown? Do you like it?
Yeah, no, I love it. Hasn't been really much added pressure, which has been good. We got great fans, we got great people, around here, and it's good because it's not really in the limelight, and not that you can hide or anything, but it's one of those things that there's really hasn't been much added pressure, and it's been good. It's been fun.
Jack, you speak a little bit of a culture change there. Was that a message that was delivered this morning? And that's part one. And part two, do you embrace that? Like you say, yeah, okay, I'm all about this, changing it to make it better?
I tend to look at the little things too. It's it's interesting to get people's perspective. People that have been hurt, and they kind of see what's going on from the outside, and they can watch it from there. But being on the inside too is a different perspective, and seeing a lot of little things that could be changed to make it better. I had playoff experience in Winnipeg, and you see what the differences are when you have really good years and when you have really bad years. And I think what the talk has been, even in the last 4 or 5 hours, I'm sure they've been talking about it for a while, and we've obviously had the thoughts of it, that we need to do some things that might seem even little, but will just help rebuild it.
Yeah, and just to be, that message was delivered by Jarmo? Yes, or?
I think it's writing on the wall for everyone.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Sellout crowds, even though the team was way out of it, it just seems like that continues to be a strength of this team. How much encouragement did that give to you, knowing that you played through a lot of injuries? There really wasn't a lot to play for from a playoff perspective, but they still showed up to support.
Yeah, it's amazing. When you hear from ex-teammates that you're playing, and they come in and they go, "Wow, it's impressive how many people you have in the building every night." It truly is, and that just goes to show you how how this place is actually, somewhat of a hockey town, in a lot of ways. It's cool to see. It's, very, it's very positive, for the players and for, the organization, I think, especially too. I think that, if we do go far and whenever that or however soon that's going to be, it's going to be backed by the whole city, and they are our most important people. So to have their support and love even when times are tough, it means a lot to the players.